All right, Gio, floor is yours, man.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Always, always, always will have no idea how much you've changed my life and my family's life, man. I really appreciate you and for obviously having this platform available as well for us to grow. We were just talking about training here in the Boca office and and I had this thought too throughout the weekend, how most of us don't take advantage of the free training that we have, right? And I'm gonna reminisce here a little bit, Jermaine, on when we used to sell powder and pills.
You better clarify that. This is being
Right.
recorded.
I'll clarify that. I will. It was powder detergent and vitamin pills. Is that good? All right, gotcha. So we used to pay $150, I think it was, 4 times a year to go into a convention. So you call it with a spouse, you're talking about $300,000. And we will also be involved in what is called a continuing education program, right? Which you had to pay, I think it was another $90 or something like that for it. Additional to that, there was a book club, I guess if you call it. I think it was another $20. And that's outside of the additional CDs and trainings that you will have to get because obviously you want to learn the business and you want to grow. And you will also purchase those to give out to new business owners, right? And then there was also a package, like a started package. In total, I think it was a $90 package, and you figure helping, I don't know, close to 5 new business owners a week and whatever. So it starts adding up, right? Now, someone asked me what was the highest amount of money that I ever made there, and I think I made maybe $2,500, and that was like with what they call a big team and going, all different types of jewelry type, and I'm talking about like platinum and silver and all this kind of things, right? And what I'm telling you guys is that at that point, we actually appreciated the kind of training that we used to get, right? And don't get me wrong, I mean, self-help books and really good motivational speeches and all that kind of stuff, like it really did help. It was a stepping stone on the way that I put it, right? To where we are now. I mean, we'll learn a whole bunch, and most of the stuff, Jermaine, that we do here, along with Chris as well, it's kind of part of that, right? Like that entrepreneur mentality that wasn't embedded in us, a few years ago. But it's just crazy to me how and still there are other agencies, there are other IMOs that in fact charges agents for this type of training, and they gladly pay for it, right? But here in FFL, and Chris Marseille actually talked here in the Boca office today, because it's free, we take it for granted. Because it's free, whenever we hear Chris was referring to Grayson and even having access to a Grayson Hughes, right? Someone who helped over 700 families last year. And because it's free and we can easily pick up the phone and call him, we don't necessarily appreciate the value that each one of these top producers or here and even these type of trainings, right? Like the Zoom calls, the live calls. I mean, when you hear, a Joshua, excuse me, whom from day one, he was willing to hop on live Zoom live dials and put himself out there. The same thing as Cameron and a bunch of other agents that are coming along, like Princess. I mean, I'm so happy to see how these guys are actually taking advantage of these type of trainings. Cameron, it was so refreshing to see you down here, driving 2 hours from 2.5 hours, I believe, from Orlando, and putting yourself in that position to learn from these top producers, right? Now, is it free to enter? You better believe it's free to enter. However, I know that there are sacrifices that you're making, right? And I think that those are some of the things that we need to remind ourselves on a daily basis. Today's training at the Hall of Fame, Road to Hall of Fame. I was a little bit, on the fence about going. I'll be honest with you guys, right? Because we just came out of convention and it's dial day, right? I mean, it's 4 hours out of dial day and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, man, and I mean, these guys can actually tell you as well, the number one, the amount of information that we got, and maybe some revealing statements as well, and not necessarily, stuff that we haven't heard. But the way that I put training is mainly on when you read a really good book once, right? For example, The Magic of Thinking Big, right? You read that book one time and it's like, a mind-blowing experience, right? You read it 90 days later and you read the whole thing again. And I know it doesn't make any sense, right? Well, you're like, well, I already read that book. But it's the same thing here, right? You read it again, you're going to find another statement, another paragraph, another piece of information that will be able to help you at that point 90 days later. Does that make sense? And it's the same thing here with training, which I'm telling you guys, and I'll be the first one to tell you this, right? We as a team are taking zero advantage of the training that we have here. Zero. And I'm taking that very personally, because if we're not helping a family in the home, if we're not making enough appointments, if we're not talking to enough people, if we're getting a lot of rejections, it's because of me. It's because of me. It's because I'm not training enough. It's because I'm not getting better at my craft. It's because I'm taking advantage of how simple this system is, and we're not putting enough effort into getting better, right? On the new agent trainings, I always talk about the fact that, we're making, and this is one of the things that was talked about today too at the training, like how much, number one, training a lawyer, for example, has to go through, right? Before they're called an actual attorney, right? They have so many names: attorney, lawyer, all this, all this stuff. But anyways, before they're able to practice, they go through about 7 years of schooling, right? Over $400,000, $500,000, depending on what school do they go to, in debt, in student loans. Right now, it was kind of mentioned, I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, you guys, can figure that out. Figure that out. But before a lawyer can make that kind of money, right, or the kind of money that a lawyer actually makes, is probably about 10 years, right? Now, let's look at what we do here. If you help 30 to 40 families a month, you're gonna be making over $300,000 a year. So what makes you think, right? What makes me think, okay, who am I to say that I'm gonna be able to make and help that kind of that amount of families per year if I don't necessarily get better myself? Like, who am I to say that I am the best on the phone? Who am I to say that I am the best in the home? Who am I to say, anyone that I bring in, to work with us, or that I share this opportunity with, who am I to tell them that I'm gonna be able to do to show them how to have success here in this business if I don't necessarily get better, if I don't necessarily train? Who am I to tell someone that training is one of the biggest things here in FFL if I'm not necessarily training myself? So I say all that to say, guys, that, FFL is such a big platform, right? And some of you guys have not necessarily seen how big FFL is, but most of you guys weren't here 3 and 4 years ago when we started, right? What we have now, it is the best platform to build this. If you're serious about building this thing, it is the best platform to build it. You have the tools, you have the help, you have the leads, and it's such a simple system that, so yes, it's simple, but you definitely have to make sure that you put effort, to build it and to make things happen. So I don't know if you guys can tell, man, but I am super excited. Now, did I miss my Dow day? Yes, I did. but the amount of information that we got today, it's incredible. So if you guys could, there are gonna be Road to Hall of Fame meetings throughout the nation, right? Whatever you guys are, please make sure that you can make. Now, don't ask me, don't take it from me, right? Take it from some of the newer agents that went on today, like Cameron and who else went? Claudine, Elaine, Jackie, Andre, a few other people that were there as well. Like, talk to them and ask them how beneficial it is. Now, don't go over there to ask them, hey, what did you get out of it? Because what they got out of it is what they needed to hear, right? And it's the same thing with convention, right? Like, there's no way that we can explain to you how much of an impact convention is going to do, or you're going to have, or whatever you hear from convention and what's going to help you, because you need to experience it yourself. Okay, so I tell you to say that I'm so excited to be a part of what we are a part of. And I was actually just talking to Ricardo, and you guys can see the numbers, so I have nothing to hide, right? January wasn't necessarily my best month, right? And I was telling Ricardo, I'm like, man, I'm so excited. We're going to help 400 families this year. Man, I have to catch up, right? And then he's like, why are you overthinking it? Ricardo goes, if you help 40 families per month for 10 months, you're a Hall of Fame producer. And I know that it sounds simple, right? But I just didn't think about it. I was just so caught up on the big number, right? And that's one of the things that, listen, if Hall of Fame is not a goal for you guys, that's totally fine, right? I had a few people that were like, is it really gonna help me come to the Road to Hall of Fame meeting? And I was like, yeah. If you get 50% of what was said there, or if 50% of what you got there, it's going to help you. If you were, because I know that at the beginning, I wasn't necessarily at a level where I was like gaining all this information, right? Like I wasn't using it the right way. My mind wasn't there, right? But if 50%, if you get, or if 50% of what you got today helped you, that's 200 families that you're going to help today. And you have actually helped your own family by making a 6-figure income. Does that make sense? And so I'm super excited, man. Now here's what's gonna happen. Now for us, right, that we took this last 4 hours, we're gonna have to readjust our schedule, and that's all, right? Marco Conde talks about dialing every single day, right? He actually says if you're not helping 30 to 40 families per month, you have to be dialing every day. You have to be dialing every day. Why? Because that's our craft. That's how we get better. Does that make sense? We don't make our money on the field, right? We're gonna help families regardless, right? I mean, people are gonna buy insurance from any agent out there, but you make your money on the phone. That's how you're gonna be able to help families. And so that's what we have to do. We just have to rearrange our schedule, dial tomorrow. If it's 3 hours tomorrow morning, if it's 3 hours on Wednesday morning, that's what we'll do. So that's not a big deal. So, man, I can go on and on and on, but this was a Q&A. So who's got the first question? Jackie, go ahead. Oh, I thought you raised your hand.
Could we dial tonight as well? Like, the dial day is not over. We still have this evening.
Yes, ma'am. That's actually a really good point, Claudine. So someone had asked me one time, they were like, just overthinking about schedule and their works, their work schedule, because they're working a 9 to 5 and stuff like that. And they go, what's the best time to dial? And I'm like, what time can you dial? And they're like, well, I can dial from 6 to 9, from 6 to 8 or whatever. Or they go, well, I can't really dial because I get off at 6. And I'm like, well, that's the perfect time to dial. You're gonna dial from 6 to 9. It doesn't matter. So Vivian Wiles, I don't know how to say her last name. I think is Wiles or Viles, however she says it. But she talked about today dialing until 10:30. And so she said that she doesn't care because they requested the information. They wanted the help. So if you call them to help them at 10:30 at night, or to at least book an appointment at that time, and they're serious about the request that they submitted, they're going to book the appointment. And if they go, well, it's 10:30 at night, why are you calling me now? And they go, well, they got me working until now to be able to book the appointment to help you. So I'm going to be there tomorrow, 3 or 4 p.m., which time works best for you. So the best time to dial is at all times. You're 100% correct on that.
That's true.
Is there a question on the chat? Let's see. Come on, guys. Any questions?
I got one, Gio.
Oh,
Yes, who's that?
That's Matthew.
Hey, Matthew, I don't see you. I see a little white guy
Hold
as
on.
a graph.
There you go.
Oh, there you are.
Hear me?
What's up, bud?
What's up, brother? So, hey, I may have missed it, but I heard something about the Road to Hall of Fame course or training, or when is that? Is that periodically?
Yes, they're going to start happening more often. The first one was down here in Boca. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be down here at all times. But if it is down here, I would highly recommend that you plan to do it. And I tell you down here because the Road to Integrity is down here in Boca. And so Road to Hall of Fame, I will highly, highly recommend. I'm telling you guys, they went from leads to in-home. And so it's a great opportunity. So if you guys can plan out to come down here. Now, here's the thing. If it happens on the dial day again, which is probably it's gonna happen, you can plan that out.
What it is.
The night, come the night before. You get there by 7:30. Right, we start at 8 o'clock on the dot. We finish at 11. They're gonna give you lunch. Right, lunch will be served at 11. Take half an hour to have lunch. You drive 5 minutes to the Boca office, and there's tons of space in here for you to start dialing. So you can actually start dialing at if you want at 11:30 or at 12, right? We usually have a training at 1, and then if we have an additional training, like ours, and then you can continue to dial from 3 to until you're done, and then fly out at night or the following morning to wherever you live. So yeah, definitely plan ahead.
Okay, and then as far as the scheduling of that stuff, will we know ahead of time when the next one is, like a couple weeks out, or?
I'm assuming so, and so we're gonna keep an eye on that too, because there's a lot of people that missed it. Again, definitely we'll be sharing that. So pay attention to that. As soon as the next one comes out, we'll definitely let you guys know.
Okay, thank you, man.
No problem. Yes, sir.
Question: when it comes to recruiting, how could we do better at recruiting, showing people when we do recruit them to come to dial days and showing up?
Okay, perfect. So that's actually a really good question. I think that we can get a lot better as an agency, on recruiting. And the fact is that we're just not necessarily talking to enough people, right? I'm not talking to a lot of people. And so we definitely need to change that. Again, we do have the tools, Claudine. So if you go under the knowledge library, under the recruiting tab, right? Did we change that yet? I think we did, right? Yep. Under the recruiting tab, you're gonna have all the tools. So there's videos in there that you're gonna be able to share with the people that you're recruiting, to create interest first, to see if this is something that they're gonna be willing to do. And then the following steps are to make sure that you get them involved, so you get them registered into our recruiting sheet, right? So we get all their information. You enter them in HCMS, then they get entered into the emails that are sent out for reminders of trainings and new agent orientations and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, in this case, you and I, we're going to be working personally to make sure that we get those agents involved. So, but a quick answer to that is that in the knowledge library, under the recruiting tab, there are 2 videos that you want to share. There's one video from Sean Mike, is a 5-minute video from Sean Mike, and then Jermaine's business overview that you share with them as well. And then what you do is you follow up with them, and because after they watch those 2 videos, you're gonna be able to know if that's the person that you're looking to work with, right? And it's kind of like the same thing when you recruit that person, and then you tell them, hey, this is the knowledge library. This is what you're gonna have to go through. In the knowledge library, you're gonna find everything that you need as a new agent to get started in the field. And if that person doesn't go through the knowledge library, then you already know who you're working with. Does that make sense?
Nice.
Awesome. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Cameron.
So, I was just wondering, Gio, what are your non-negotiables? Your standards. For example, like what are those things that you just, no matter how much success you see, you'll never compromise those things. And how do you keep yourself to that? How do you keep that humility and that conviction to keep working hard even after you see success?
That's good. That's good, man. And I think that I'm gonna go along with what Chris said earlier today here at the training. And so after I realized that this is what was gonna help my family, and after I prioritized, right? So after I prioritized my life, really. So from where I was, and I had a business, and it wasn't necessarily making a lot of money. Then I started driving for Uber, and then I was dancing for a living. I'm just kidding. I was doing Zumba. And so it was a pretty big thing for me, right? And so I needed to change that, right? And so I easily came to a realization that that's not what was gonna help me. That's not what was gonna help my family get to where we needed to be, and that wasn't also what was gonna help our agency, right? If I was to talk, although I told Jermaine that I was not gonna talk to anyone, right, when I got started. After a few months, I realized that, you know what, it's pretty selfish if I don't share this with people. And so I realized that that's not what was going to help the new agents coming in. And so once I prioritize FFL, right, in my life, right, and I also I want to say this too. So I also get this sometimes, that it's like, well, you breathe FFL, like it's everything that you do. Like sometimes you just need a break, right? Well, that's not for me, guys. Not for me. So, and I'm not gonna ask for forgiveness, for thinking this way. It's just where I'm at right now. I'm not getting any younger. I'm 38 years old, and my kids are now 6 months old, and I want to be there for the rest of their life. I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss any more firsts. So that's where I'm at right now. So that's my non-negotiable, is that I'm gonna make this work. And whatever that is, I was talking to Jackie the other day, and I mentioned to her that I'm done giving up. I'm done letting things get to me. I've invested enough into this thing that, and I'm seeing it work for somebody else. Like the top producers, the Hall of Famers that went on stage today, none of them, with all due respect, and I know every single one of them, and I respect them very highly, very, very highly. They're not better than me. And this is not being egotistic or anything like that, right? I'm telling you guys that they're no better than me. Now, they believe more in themselves, and they just work harder than me. That's all it is, right? So I can definitely do that. So to answer your question, Cameron, my non-negotiables, once I figured out that this is what I wanted to do, that's a long answer, right? But it's my schedule, number one, my schedule, Mondays and Thursdays, nobody. And it's funny, right? Because Tyler Adams mentioned today, he said that everyone in your family and everyone around you has to be in agreement with what you're trying to do here, right? And so your family, your spouse, whoever you live with, if you're a single person here and you have no one to answer to, this is not disrespecting anyone, but please take advantage of that. Seriously, please take advantage of that, guys, because you have nothing to lose. You can literally just pick up, set your schedule, and go to freaking work. That's really all you have to do. So he was mentioning, you know, you have to make sure that your family and everyone else around you is in agreement with everything that you're trying to accomplish here. Because so my non-negotiables Mondays and Thursdays is that, like, I have to be in the office by 8 o'clock, the latest for me, 8:30 sometimes for me, right? But on time to dial, that's my non-negotiable, right? Now, until when, right? Which is also part of the non-negotiable, right? Until when? Until I'm freaking done. That's just what it is. Do I want to go home now, right now that we've had training all day, and I can say, oh my gosh, I just lost the entire day, and we had training and I don't have any appointments. Well, I can just dial tomorrow. I do want to go home right now, especially when I have access to my camera and I can see my kids, in the room or whatever they're. I can at least hear them or whatever. And then I keep getting videos and pictures as to what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. I definitely want to go home, right? But it's until we're done, And then my second negotiable is, again, once I understood that I needed to invest, that I needed to change that thought process of being scared, as far as investing, is making sure that I have anywhere between 80 and 100 new leads every single dial day.
Brand new leads, 80 to
100.
Yeah,
80 to 100 leads every single dial day. So those are two of my non-negotiables. That's a good question, man. Yeah. I see a question here. What was the number one thing you took from the training that you'll be implementing? Believing in myself, Ashley. I just need to believe in myself a lot more. And like I said, just knowing that these guys are no better than me. And I think I've been too comfortable with the amount of money that I've expended, that I've been spending in leads. We just need to do more. We just need to do more. That's all it is.
Ashley, I also say that I'm a field underwriter. I'm not selling anything.
Yes.
So to remember that when we go to the household, that we're not selling anything, we're field underwriters.
Not selling.
Yeah. That was a really good thing too. Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, so sometimes we just get into this thought process that, we're trying to make a sale and we're trying to make a sale. And to that, I would say that we're just not asking enough questions, right? So Miranda actually, sometimes we talk about what happened in the home and stuff like that. And one of the first things that, she sometimes asks me, she's like, well, did you ask this? Did you ask that? I'm like, you're right. I'm just not asking enough questions. Right. So it's really that when you know exactly the reason that you're there, and when you find out the reason that they need insurance, you'll know exactly what route to take. Yeah. So definitely we're not trying to sell anyone.
And consistency, they were big on consistency. Everybody talked about consistency.
Yes.
Yep. Consistency. Yep. Consistency is the key, right? Because see, once you guys start building, and this is just because we're working with people, right? Us as humans, we're kind of funny, and we're always gonna try to take the easy way out. Maybe not a lot of you guys, right? But I know that in some cases that's the way that I used to perform. Sometimes, but I mean, you guys are way better than me, but I'm just telling you the way that I was. But we just try to take the easy way out, and so we sometimes work hard for a week, 2 weeks, right? We sometimes work hard for about a month, and if we don't see enough results, because we have this microwave mentality of like things need to happen right now, and if they don't happen right now, it doesn't work. We give up, right? And so I think that as we get better, right, going back to the training, as we get better in our craft, as we get better on the phones, as we get better in the home, you're gonna find out that the only thing that we were missing is training and talking to and seeing more people. Talking to more people, I should say. Right? So training and talking to more people. Now, where do you do those two? Obviously, training on your own and talking to more people on the phone. Like that's what I mean. Like we're just not necessarily dialing them a lot. So we're so blessed to be here, man. But Nick Ayala just walked by and it reminded me of some of the things that he said. I mean, if you're not seeing results, you're just not talking to a lot of people. That's all. Like, so if you guys are at that point right now where you're like, I don't know what's going on, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know what I'm doing, I need help, you're just not talking to a lot of people. That's all it is. And if you are questioning yourself on that end, right, understand that it involves training. So 2 things: you're not training enough and you're not talking to a lot of people. So some of the things that some new agents, and you give them the little leeway, right? Because they're new agents and stuff like that. And they go, well, I'm saying this and I'm saying that, and it's just not working. And sometimes it's like, well, where did you hear that? Because like none of the training says that at all. Like we don't say that on the phone. Like, have you been, logging into our live dials? Do you hear these things? Do you hear the things that we say on the phone? Like neither one of us say that. So like, I don't know where you got that from. Now, the other thing too is in the home, right? And you go, well, this is what I'm saying. This is what I said. And they still said that. And I'm like, where did you get that? Like, have you been training? Honestly, as simple as, did you go through the knowledge library? As simple as that. Did you truly go through the knowledge library? Because if you did, you would have never said that.
Right there,
right? And so so it's part of the consistency, guys. So yeah, most definitely, Claudine, thank you for sharing that. So stay consistent. And another, where are my notes? Another top producer said, so you're gonna fail. Don't be afraid of failing. You're gonna fail in this business. If you're gonna be successful, if you're trying to hit, Hall of Fame, you're gonna fail. John Lama, and he's walking around here too. So you're gonna fail, and it's okay to fail. But if you fail enough and you keep the consistency behind that, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. This is the best thing that, and probably you guys have seen better things than this, right? But this was for me where I was. This was the one thing that I can say. January was a horrible month. Don't get me wrong. We help families, right? So I can't necessarily be ungrateful. So we did help some families, not a lot, but I can put it all back on me and say I didn't work hard. I can't blame Chris. I can't blame Jermaine. I can't blame neither one of you guys. Neither one of you guys. I can say the leads because the leads were coming in, right? We just didn't work hard enough. I didn't work hard enough. So that's it.
Gio, I have a question.
Yes.
So I actually was in a car and I had to pull over. I'm standing in a restroom at a QT. That's why my camera's not on. So anyhow, I came across a quote this morning from Tom Landry. He was like a football coach. He said, a coach helps people to basically says the things that people don't want to hear and helps people to see the things that they don't want to see. And it literally gave me an epiphany because it was like, okay, so I am a certified life coach. When I have contracts with my clients, coaching clients, they sign a contract that gives me permission to be able to coach them, right? But it gave me an epiphany that when I go into the homes, I'm not always saying the things that people don't want to hear, and I'm not always helping them to see the things that they need to see. You get what I'm saying? In order to move. And I think it's more of a, I don't know, maybe it was, maybe it's a subconscious thing that maybe I feel like people need to give me permission. But then I realize, you know, when a person submits their information as a lead, they're basically hiring me to come out to help them, whether they realize it or not. So I have a different perspective now. But I want to ask you, in the beginning, was there ever a time to where you didn't always say the things that they need to hear, even if they didn't want to hear it? And was there a time to where you didn't always help them to see the things that they needed to see? And how did you overcome that? Like, what was your issue? I think for me, like I said, it was a perspective thing for me. And also, you know, we go through it. We all go through it on the phones, but we also go through it in the home when you're trying to help people. Sometimes you get that rejection. Sometimes even when you say the things that they need to hear, sometimes you get that rejection. And so it'll kind of cause you to not want to say that again the next time, you know? So how?
Right. Yeah. I think I don't want to miss what you said, but I think I got the gist of your question. So you just want to know how to, how was my beginning? How do I overcome being direct with people in the home and stuff like that? So my breakthrough happened after 2 years. In the business. So convention of 2021 is pretty much when I decided that I was going to go all in. And that was and again, because I realized that I wasn't seeing enough people, I didn't think that I was at that point where I knew everything in the home, right? And so, but number one, by seeing more clients, number one, by sitting in more homes, that's a way that you're going to be able to overcome. Now, the tactical part of that would be making sure that you have a good structure, okay? And then, and I think that structure, guys, so, and even when you see enough families per week, well, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. So when as I've been building up to seeing 30 families per week, I think, and again, just us as human beings, or maybe just me, right? So I was thinking, oh, I got this. I've been to enough homes. I know how to do this. This is what I'm going to say, blah, 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 right? And then I kind of left the training to the side. And I'm telling you guys, I'm not just saying this, like I'm not getting paid to say this. I'm telling you that this is going to help you. I really wish that I would, from when I realized that I would get paid, because I feel that I've been saying this over and over and over and over again. So even if I got $1 for every time I say it, I think I'll probably have a couple thousand now. But training, that's the way that you're gonna be able to overcome that. So if you're having some issues when it comes to that, it's probably because we're just not training enough. And then the other, you said something very so with your clients, when they pay you, you said you are pretty much, they're giving you permission to be honest with them, to tell them what they really need to be hearing and the things that they need to be doing, right? So Brian Mendenhall, which you guys should have listened to by now, if you are in the home, if you guys haven't heard to Brian Mendenhall, if you have no idea who that is and you are dialing and you are seeing clients and you have no idea who Brian Mendenhall is, you're not doing your homework. You're not training enough. Brian Mendenhall talks about literally asking permission to the client to be honest with them. And so he goes, hey guys, I'm going to be really direct and honest with you guys. Can I have your permission to be honest with you guys, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent? I don't talk that way. Like I'm from Ecuador. English is my second language. I wouldn't have come up with that on my own. Like I heard it from Brian Mendenhall, and I say that in the home. Right. So I go, guys, I'm going to be direct and honest with you guys. Can I have your permission to be honest? Well, I know, I don't say the second part, but that's what he says. Can I have your permission to be honest? Whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, I say, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, it's going to be honest and it's going to come from my heart. Okay. And they're every single one of them, they go, yeah, I want you to be honest with me. I want you to be direct with me. So ask them for permission, and don't be afraid. I think that at the beginning for me, it was hard to say or talk about death, right? And so one of the things that I've been saying lately is, I'm going to be direct and honest with you guys. I go, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, it's all going to be honest and it's going to come from the heart, okay? I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room, which is the dying part, but I'm also going to be really positive. And you know, I that's pretty much how I lead that part. So try that, Anissa. Try asking for permission, and now that you have permission, you better be honest and direct with them.
That's good stuff. Thank you so much, Gio.
Awesome. You're welcome. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Call to close with Brian Mendenhall. Jermaine just posted that, so that's great. Good stuff, man. Good questions. Anybody else?
I learned today to dig more into the medical and beneficiary, because I noticed that I kind of scammed through that. So to dig more into it instead of just speeding past that, to find out more about their medical and more about their beneficiary.
Yep. Yeah, that's actually a really good point too in the home. Just to be able to, the thought process behind that is to make sure that you can create urgency, right? So one of the things that Vivian Wiles mentioned, she said that she goes through every single one of the underwriting questions because she wants to create urgency. So when you talk about, have you ever had any type of heart condition such as cardiomyopathy, cardiac failure, you know, congestive heart failure, and those type of things, and they go, no, I hope that I don't get that. And so her thought process behind that was, when you ask those questions and you put that in the back of their mind, they're like, oh crap, if I answer one of these questions as a yes, I may not qualify. So you create that urgency, you create that doubt, actually. Two things. Tyler Adams talked first and then Vivian talked after. So Tyler talked about creating that urgency, and then Vivian followed it up with that too. So creating the doubt and the urgency. Doubt that they're not going to qualify, and the urgency that they need this. And so talking about the beneficiary, finding out, you know, who they are, how old they are, what do they do for a living? Are they, you know, single parents, single income homes? Are they going to be able to afford the home if you're talking about mortgage protection, or if they're going to be able to afford the final expense if you're talking about final expense on their own? Chris Merced and I utilize this too. Like if I go on a final expense and then I go, hey Mary, if you die today, I came a day too late. Is Sally gonna be able to afford, you know, $10,000 to $15,000 out of her pocket to be able to take care of your final expenses? And if they go no, and I go, got it. That's exactly the reason why you fill out the form. So you want to make sure that she doesn't come out of pocket for your final expenses. Is that correct? So yeah. That's good. That's good, buddy. Thanks for sharing that. What else? Anybody else? It's about 3 p.m., so I think that we can wrap it up too. So, hey guys, if you didn't take anything, or if you allow me and you give me the blessing to play a part on today's training, do that. Take advantage of training. I know that I'm not, and I need to get better at it. So let's take advantage of what we have here in the Impact Agency and really FFL overall. Another thing that I got today too, man, so much good stuff. So always reach out, but make sure that you're reaching up. So I took that one of two ways, and I'm going to say it because I'm not afraid of saying it. If there is something going on and you're not growing, you better be reaching up. You better go on your knees and you better pray and you better find out what's holding you back. And God will tell you. God will tell you.
Don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence.
Yep, exactly. And then here, right, reach up, meaning like if someone is writing or helping 5 families a week or 10 families a week, like don't talk to them, right? If you're looking to help 10, 15, and 20 I'm sorry, 10, 15, I meant a month. If you're looking to help 10, 15, 20 families a month, please make sure that you talk to someone, to an agent who's actually helping 10, 15, 20 families a month. Now, if your goal, Tyler Adams said that his goal was to help 400 families a year, and he wanted to help 40 families a month. So what he did is he went on YouTube, and if there was a training from someone that was helping 20 families a month, you know, titles on the videos and, you know, how to help 20 families a month, blah, 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 he will skip those videos. He will only listen to those agents who were in fact helping 40 families a month. So, you know, take advantage of all that stuff, guys. And I'm sorry to tell you, but we're not gonna hold your hand. Like, no one is gonna call you and say, hey, did you check out this training? Did you listen to this video? Did you start dialing at AM? Did you buy your leads? You know, like, are you getting better on your craft? Like, on the way to the office, did you listen to a phone video? No one is going to tell you that. And so the results of that you're going to see here, they're all going to depend on what you do, the preparation that you have, right? Frank DeSena talked about it. He wrapped up the training here, and he said, and I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys think are the 2 biggest fears in humanity? Anybody, quickly?
Rejection.
Rejection and failure.
Rejection and failure. Those are 2 good answers. Got it. I'm going to go with those, right? Well, is dying and fear of public speaking. Okay? So the dying part, there's nothing that we can do. You just have to figure it out and make sure that you know where you're going, right? So you just got to come in agreement with God. And as long as you acknowledge Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, you're going to be going to the right place. Number 2, fear of public speaking, right? So how do you overcome the fear of public speaking? And it's by preparation, right? So everything that you do here, it's gonna be a result of how you've prepared. That's all it is. You're only gonna be able to get better by preparing. Okay, and you have all the tools in here, guys. I'm telling you, this is nowadays, this is the best thing out there, best platform to learn from. And we all have access to the same exact thing, right? I can go on and on and on. Another brand new Hall of Famer, Jesse, I forget, Jesse H. He just walked by with a shaved head, by the way. So he made a commitment to his team. If he doesn't help 100 families every month, right, this year, he was going to shave his head. So he missed last year month. He only helped 96. So he shaved his head. But so far, 3 weeks in February, he's helped over 100 families already. And last year, he went Hall of Fame on CRM leads. So I have no excuses. No excuses at all, man. So I'm done, Jermaine. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, man. That was phenomenal. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your heart. That was tremendous. So hope you guys took a lot out of this, and let's apply it and let's go to work. Thanks, Gio.